Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Yo, so I had a question, right? And they asked me if they were to get certified in RT, CT, and MRI, would they make more money, basically? So let me break it down for you, right? So the very first step you got to do is a 2-year program, which is the RT, automatically. RT is the first step. That's it. That's the first step. You do RT. Second step, 90% of the time what people do is they go for CT because of the fact that CT and X-ray kind of correlate together in a way. Because when you work, especially when you work in a hospital, because when you work in a hospital and you see patients to the ER, 99.9% of the time they're gonna order an X-ray and a CT. It's the way it is. Some hospitals call it code save a heart. Some people just say stroke too. So code save a heart, of course, for a heart attack. So 90% of the time, you're gonna go with your portable machine, go do a chest X-ray, and then from there they're gonna order a CT chest, usually with iodine, an angio chest PE study. So they kind of they go hand in hand, you know. So you're gonna do CT and X-ray. Now, that's what I would say to do when you first go into the hospital. Unless, you know, when you rotate through hospitals as a student and you did CT and you don't like it, then by all means, don't do it. MRI is kind of like its own self identity, I guess, if you can say. The cool thing about MRI is that 90% of the time, everything's scheduled because MRIs take time, between 30 minutes to 40 minutes. Depends what you do, maybe 20 minutes. But it's all scheduled. It's very, very, very rare that you'll get an MRI ER patient, because an MRI is not a emergency modality. An MRI is a modality that, you know, like I said, is scheduled. They know that the patient takes time. There's no way they're gonna put not that I think let me take that back. You do get emergency situations, like I said, very rare. But if you have a doctor that you have a pregnant lady, right, in the ER, and she's suffering from a bad migraine or a headache, 99% of the time they're not going to want her put it through a CT brain without, because they're going to be like, you know what, she's pregnant, you know, radiation, whatever. So they'll order an MRI without, you know, a brain, whatever. So the MRI tech has to come in, whatever, do that. So, but like I said, it's rare. Now, to answer the question of will you be making more money if you know all three? Yes and no. And the reason I say that is you have to, once you get into the field, you'll understand how everything works, right? So if you know CT and X-ray, you'll make a little more because you're gonna get X-ray pay. So this is let me put it this way. This is the how it goes in order, who or what makes the most money in radiology. All right, so let me put it that way. RT is first. RT is the lowest on the pole, because that's like your border. That's your baseline. That's your base pay. You're RT regardless. That's your base pay. You know, so that's what you're gonna make the least there, automatic. The second one that you make decent money is CT, because it's another modality. The third one that you make the most is MRI. MRIs make more than CT techs and RT techs. And MRI and sonography, ultrasound, kind of like are hand in hand. They get kind of paid the same. Like MRI pay and ultrasound pay, it's kind of the same. So if you all three certified, when you go and apply for a job, make sure you apply for whatever you feel comfortable in. Because sometimes people get, you know, modalities and they're like, you know what, I got my CT license because this hospital wanted me to do it, but I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. So don't go applying for CT positions if you don't like doing it, because all you're gonna do is be miserable, you know. Same thing with MRI. People get the MRI certified, and a lot of people don't like it either, so they don't do MRI. They just be like, oh, I'm gonna just go do basic X-ray. This is what I applied for. This is what I'm gonna do, you know. So is a tricky situation, man, because the more modalities you have, the more valuable you are. But at the same time, man, the more they can use you, and not always in a good way. Because what they're gonna do is they're gonna be like, look, just throw a number out there. MRI techs get paid $35 an hour, right? 35 roughly. CTs 31, 32, depends. So this is what they're gonna do though, right? They're gonna be like, look, we're gonna hire you as a, say, MRI tech. I'm gonna hire you as an MRI tech. Okay, we're in a slow facility. Whenever there's no MRIs to be done, I need you to go downstairs or wherever it is to go do x-rays. Or I need you to go to the OR and do an OR case because there's no MRIs to be done for the next 2 hours. I need you to go do a case. That's where it becomes tricky, man, because you're gonna be like, okay, that's where you have to be like smart in your contract and be like, look, I'm just only doing MRIs. I'm not signing up for this. I'm not signing up for CT. I'm not. So you're more valuable in a way, but if you have all three, you're more valuable, but at the same time, you can be used and overworked. Let's put it that way. You can be overworked. That's why when you see, nowadays you see applications that they'll tell you you have to be CT and X-ray certified. Of course, X-ray certified it's a given. You have to be RT certified. But then they'll throw that little thing in there to be like, oh, you have to also be CT certified because, like I said, CT and X-ray kind of go hand in hand. And if you work overnight or if you work the evening shift, like 3 to 11 or 11 to 7, you're going to have to learn how to do both. That's in every hospital. So if you want to make good money, right, in radiology, you want to make good money, have a good work-life balance, my thing to you was to tell you, go to RT school, RT baseline, and then jump into MRI. MRI is probably going to be the one thing that is probably a good work-life balance if you like the radiology field. Because CT and X-ray, they're going to work you. That's just the bottom line. They're going to work you. You're going to be on call. They're going to, I don't want to scare you away because every job has its perks, whatever, and its bads or whatever. But if you go for X-ray and you do CT and X-ray together, like they want you to, they will get the $32 out of you. There's just no other way around it. Now, MRI is a little different because you will be on call, but the chances of you getting called in for MRI are very, very slim, very slim. And like I said, they get paid more. You start off at an MRI tech at, $35 an hour. That's not counting evening shift. That's not counting overtime. That's not counting if you do get called in. So you make really good money as an MRI tech. So I hope I can answer the question. If I didn't, let me know in the comments. Maybe I can elaborate more on what MRI does separately, CT, X-ray, whatever. Yeah, let me know. And hope you enjoyed it.